How many times have you told yourself, if I could just figure this work-life balance thing, everything would finally feel easier? Mama, I'm going to tell you something bold. Work-life balance is a lie, and the harder you chase it, the more out of balance you feel. But here's the good news. It's not hopeless. You can find peace. You can feel more present. You can stop feeling like you're failing at everything. And today, I'm going to coach you through the exact shift that finally brought me peace after years of chasing a version of balance that didn't even exist. So grab your notebook, pour that coffee, and settle in. This one's going to feel like a mini coaching retreat. Hey mama, welcome to Career Growth for Working Moms. If you're stuck in a job that doesn't fit or burning out trying to do it all, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, a career coach and fellow working mom. Here, you'll get simple career strategies and strength-based leadership tips to help you grow with clarity and confidence. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time and let's do this. Hey mama, welcome back to the show. Today, we're talking about one of the most searched, most asked for, most guilt-inducing topics for working moms, work-life balance. Now, before we dig in, let me say this up front. If you've been chasing balance and feel like you keep failing, you're not broken, you're not weak, you're not behind. The truth is, you've been set up because the version of balance we've been sold, it doesn't exist. Today, I want to give you a new lens, a new definition, and a new way to actually create peace without the guilt. I want to take you back to when my kids were little. Picture this. I'm standing in my kitchen at 7:30 in the morning. One kid is crying because the shoes don't feel right. The other is refusing to eat breakfast. I've got my phone in one hand trying to respond to emails before anyone notices I haven't replied yet. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh no, I forgot to sign that field trip form. By the time I got the kids out the door, I was already exhausted, and the day hadn't even started. Work meetings? I'd smile and nod through them. I'd say yes to projects I didn't have capacity for. I'd work late to fix other people's mistakes or what didn't get done. And all the while, I'd feel the guilt rising in my chest because I was missing an activity or bedtime. Then, and I'm sure some of you can relate, I tried to make up for it by rushing into dinner, homework, baths, laundries, emails, packing lunches, until I finally collapsed into bed completely drained. And the worst part? I thought it was my fault. I thought if I could just balance better, if I could just manage my time better, if I could just try harder, maybe I'd finally feel like I was enough. So I bought the planners, I color-coded my calendar, I woke up at 5 a.m. to squeeze in workouts and quiet time. And you know what? It still didn't work. Because balance, the way I understood it, was a lie. The truth? Balance isn't about doing everything. Balance is about doing the right things in the right season. And once I made that shift, everything changed. So let's bust through these myths because unless we rewrite the story of balance, you're going to keep repeating the cycle. So myth number one is that balance means equal. You've seen the image, right? The perfect scale, work on one side, life on the other, evenly distributed. But life isn't 50-50. Some season, work needs more. Some season, families need more. Think about tax accountants in April. They're working like crazy. Balance in that season doesn't mean splitting time evenly. It means accepting the season and making intentional choices to support it. Okay, so now think about your last month. Was there a week where work demanded more? A week where family did? Did you feel guilty for it not being equal? Let's write that down. Because balance isn't equal. Balance is seasonal. Okay, myth number two is that balance means doing it all. We think if we could just fit everything in, work, kids, house, friends, fitness, volunteering, we'd finally feel balanced. But balance doesn't come from doing it all. It comes from choosing what matters most in this season. So one of my clients, Lisa, she's a mom of 3, thought balance meant keeping all the plates spinning. She worked full-time, hosted family dinners, coached soccer, volunteered at church. On the outside, she looked like Supermom. On the inside, she was drowning. When we worked together, she let go of half of her commitments. She said no to the volunteer role. She scaled back the family dinners. And you know what? For the first time in years, she breathed. Balance is about squeezing in everything. It's about making space for what matters now. All right, myth number 3 is that balance is a destination. So many of us think balance is something we'll arrive at. Like one day we'll wake up and finally have it figured out. But balance isn't a destination, it's a daily reset. Imagine a seesaw. On one side, work, and on the other side, life. Now picture yourself in the middle, gently moving back and forth, adjusting with each day. That's balance, not frozen, but flexible. So where have you been expecting balance to be permanent? How would it feel to accept it as a practice instead? Now here's where it gets juicy. Your leadership style affects how imbalance shows up and how to fix it. So you boss ladies in action, at work, you carry everything. You micromanage. You fix other people's mistakes. At home, you run the household like a project plan. You do it all because if I don't do it, it won't get done right. So you need to delegate. Ask, what am I holding someone else that someone else could carry? Even if it's not perfect, release it. You charismatic queens, at work, you say yes to stay visible. You want to be the go-to, the one with the ideas, the energy. At home, you overschedule family activities to prove you're engaged. You always push yourself to be on. So protect your voice. Ask yourself, am I saying yes because it matters or because I want approval? Heart-centered guide. At work, you carry emotional labor. You check in on everyone. You say yes because you don't want to disappoint. At home, you absorb everyone's stress, kids, partner, friends. You forget yourself completely. So you need to reset by going in solitude. Block 15 minutes a day to tune into your needs. Visionary brainiacs, at work you overthink. You delay decisions. You're stuck in your head analyzing. At home, you're thinking about the future and missing the present. So you need to take imperfect action. Ask yourself, what's one messy step I can take right now? So which style sounds most like you? How is it showing up in your imbalance at work? What about at home? So let's do this together. Grab your notebook if you can. Answer these questions. Number 1, what's energizing me right now? What's draining me right now? Where am I overbalanced toward work? Where am I overbalanced toward family? Now, let's go deeper. For each answer, ask, who benefits when I stay here? Who suffers? Here's an example. Overbalanced at work, your boss benefits. Your kids may suffer. Overbalanced at home, your kids thrive. Your career may stall, though. Balance isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Pause me if you need time to write, but I really want you to dig into these questions. Okay, here's my framework for creating peace without chasing balance. Peace. P, pause. Stop the autopilot. E, evaluate. Ask, what matters most this week? A, adjust. Delegate, delay, or delete what doesn't fit. C, commit. Choose 1 to 2 aligned priorities for work and home. E, exhale. Release the guilt. So you want a sample script for work? Maybe you say something like, I want to do my best here. If this is a priority, can we adjust something else off my plate? Or at home, maybe you need to say something like, I need us to share the load. Can you own soccer this week while I handle school? Now close your eyes. Picture a week where balance isn't doing everything, but about choosing the right things. At work, you're focused. At home, you're present. At night, you feel grateful, not guilty. It's not a fantasy. That's alignment. So, your homework for this week. Number 1, I want you to do the balance reset audit. Number 2, practice the peace reset once. Then third, take the leadership style quiz to understand how you uniquely experience imbalance and to help reset faster. And if this episode gave you a new perspective, share it with a friend or leave a quick review. Your words help another mama break free from the lie of balance too. Mama, you don't need to chase balance. You need to choose peace. And when you do, you'll stop surviving and start thriving. I'll see you next time. Hey Working Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share it with a friend who's stuck in her career but doesn't want to sacrifice her family to grow? Also, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It seriously lights me up to know this show is helping you navigate burnout, find clarity, and lead with confidence. All right, time to shut down my laptop and pretend I'm not hiding from folding that laundry. I'll meet you back here soon for another episode of Career Growth for Working Moms. You've got this.